My name is Jamison Hague, and I'm here interviewing Jake Auchincloss, a candidate for Congress in Mass, District 4, and this interview is provided by NortonMediaCenter.org.
Thank you very much for having me on.
You're welcome, anytime. You're running for candidate for Congress in Massachusetts, District 4, correct?
That's right. I'm currently a city councilor in Newton. I was formerly a Marine officer, and I am running for Congress in the Massachusetts 4th to represent the people of Norton in the House of Representatives.
That's wonderful to hear. As I look through, I'm wondering, to start us off with the campaign, how many signatures have you acquired so far to get on the September 1st ballot?
Oh, we were the first campaign to get on the ballot, I'm proud to say, about 6 weeks ago. And that was really due to the tremendous volunteer support that we've been able to generate. So we've had well over, at this point, well over 2,500, I presume. We were on the ballot even when the signature count was 2,000. And now that it's been lowered, we're certainly on.
Excellent. How many endorsements have you received so far in this campaign, and anybody in particular that you want to mention?
Well, I'm proud to have endorsements from throughout the district. So I've got an endorsement from State Rep Paul Schmidt in Fall River. I have an endorsements from the chairs of the select boards in Sharon and Foxborough. But I think the endorsements I'm most proud of are those of my colleagues on the Newton City Council and School Committee, because those are the people I've been working with for the last 5 years to get stuff done for the residents of Newton. These are people who day in and day out, we've worked together on challenging issues like transportation, housing, education, immigration, and that this very day we're working on really confronting a new budget and a new reality post-COVID. And the fact that I've gotten endorsements from the president and vice president of the Newton City Council, the chair and the vice chair of the Newton School Committee, as well as 40 other elected officials and civic leaders throughout Newton, I think tells people throughout the district that I'm somebody who's been able to collaborate, been able to get results, and who's somebody who's going to be able to collaborate and get results in Congress.
Excellent. I guess one of the first questions that the people want to ask when they watch this through NortonMediaCenter.org is, could you tell the people in Norton what your take on transportation is in Massachusetts and what you would do about it?
Yeah, it feels like a long time ago, but it wasn't so long ago that traffic and congestion were some of our biggest problems in Massachusetts, as well as an unreliable public transportation system. And I'm proud to say that my campaign was the first one, and to date, still the only one that has released a comprehensive transportation plan. We did so in October. And we've linked transportation to climate change. Transportation accounts for 40% of the carbon emissions that drive climate change here in Massachusetts. It's the only sector in Massachusetts where its carbon footprint is growing. So if we're talking about federal investments in a new energy infrastructure, and we're not talking about transportation, then we're missing the point. So I've put forward a significantly detailed plan about getting to connected bus rapid transit, all electric regional rail, better infrastructure for cycling and walking, so that we expand economic opportunity, we expand quality of life, and we reduce our carbon footprint. Now, this is a plan that is going to need to be massaged in a new era where people are increasingly concerned about using transit, at least in the near term, and where funding is going to be more challenging to acquire.
All right, thank you. One of your other the strong issues that you discuss is gun control. So what are the steps that you would take on helping end gun violence in America?
As a Marine officer, I slept, ate, trained, patrolled with an AR-15 for 4.5 years. And I don't believe that civilians have a constitutional right to own an assault weapon. And we've put forward a gun safety plan that will make our kids safer, and that will reduce both handgun violence as well as the risk of school shootings. Now, this is an important issue. This remains an important issue. But today, as it stands now, I do believe that elected officials up and down levels of government need to be focused on COVID public health and safety, and then jobs and economic recovery post-COVID. And so in light of the pandemic over the last several months, as a city councilor in Newton, I've really focused on that issue. And as a member of Congress, that'll be my top priority.
Wonderful. And that's actually an excellent segue into my next question. As COVID-19 has changed our world in many ways these last few months, first thing I wanted to ask you, who have you been speaking to in the medical field to get a better perspective on this pandemic?
A number of people, but first and foremost has been Dr. Ashish Jha. Dr. Jha is the director of the Harvard Global Health Institute, and I've done 2 webinars with him for residents of the Massachusetts 4th so that everybody can hear about his expertise. We've had hundreds of registrants for those webinars. Dr. Jha, back in March, walked us through what he thought was required in terms of testing and quarantine for us to get through this safely. And then more recently, he talked us through what a reopening of the economy might look like. He has been briefing the National Governors Association. He's been on national TV repeatedly. He's really become a world-renowned voice of the COVID-19 public health response, and I'm proud to say that he's been one of the key advisors on this issue.
Excellent. Secondly, relating to COVID-19, as seniors appear as some of the most vulnerable during this pandemic, what steps has your district taken to help support seniors?
Well, I can tell you, as a city councilor in Newton, one of the first things we did was stage a big phone bank to call every senior citizen who was living alone to check in on them and see if they needed any help. And we were able to call through the entire city to make sure that people had support. And now we are branching out beyond Newton to make sure that we're calling folks who may be living alone and may need help or access to essential services like prescription drugs or groceries. But the most important thing we can do for seniors really just ties into a more competent federal response. This administration first denied that COVID-19 was a problem, then it blamed it on the Democrats as a hoax, then it appointed Jared Kushner to solve it, and now finally they seem to be falling victim to a COVID-19 infection within the West Wing. So it has been marked by incompetence and negligence the entire way, and what we need is a much more muscular congressional oversight and response so that we are a bridge to governors and mayors, who are the ones on the ground getting the job done, and that we are making sure that we've got a robust testing infrastructure and contact tracing infrastructure in place so that we can safely reopen the economy while preserving public health.
Very good. Third, related to COVID-19, could you give some detail on the COVID-19 page on your website?
Yeah, this COVID-19 page was meant to do a number of things. One, it was meant to direct people to a series of high quality sources of information. So one of the things that happens during crises is that there is so much noise and there's so many people competing for your attention that sometimes people don't know who to turn to for advice. And so one of the things that we did was for different areas of interest, business, local government, state government, public health, we identified a couple of key experts that we wanted to direct people to. And then at the local level, we directed folks to places where they could offer help and places where they could receive help. And that really has been a core theme, I think, throughout Massachusetts, is a sense of solidarity, a sense of compassion, a sense that we are in this together and that we are going to get out of this together.
And how, and tying in with that, one of the last things, the people of Norton are curious, how have you been communicating through and utilizing social media related to COVID-19?
Well, we've got a very widespread Facebook and Twitter footprint. We've been doing weekly webinars, like I alluded to with Dr. Jha, but also with public health and public policy experts as well. We have one coming up on Thursday, in fact, with a national security expert, Juliette Kayyem. These are meant to allow people throughout the district to hear from subject matter experts. We've also been doing phone banks, and we have been doing emails to keep people informed. The truth is, none of this quite matches politics at its best, which is retail politics, where you're able to see people in person, you're able to connect in person, you're able to make an impression in person. Unfortunately, that has been taken away from all campaigns at this time. But the work doesn't stop, the outreach doesn't stop, and we're feeling very confident about our position going into September 1st.
Wonderful, excellent. And I think some of the people, a little lighter question, I think the town of Norton is wondering, during the COVID-19 crisis, what team or sport are you missing the most and dying to see come back?
Oh, geez. I was really excited for the Bruins. They had a great team, and I thought the Bruins were going to be able to go all the way. So I would love to see NHL come back.
I know, it's very unfortunate having the best record and everything.
I know. They were cooking with gas. They
were. Mr. Auchincloss, candidate for Congress in Mass at District 4. Again, this interview is provided by NortonMediaCenter.org, and I think this has been great. I'd like to wish you luck in the campaign moving forward, and I thank you for your time.
I appreciate you having me on. It was fun.
Thank you.
My name is Jake Auchincloss. I'm a city councilor in Newton and a former Marine officer. And I'm running for Congress in the Massachusetts 4th to represent you in the House of Representatives. And I'm running to deliver results for the people of Massachusetts at a time when we are all looking towards the federal government for competence and compassion. My whole career, from the military to business to local government to the nonprofit sector, I have worked together with people to get stuff done. And my commitment to you is that I will get stuff done for Massachusetts as we recover from COVID-19. I will ensure that we have state and local government relief. I will ensure that we expand our SNAP benefits so that no kid goes hungry. And I will put together a plan working together with state and local officials to ensure that we get jobs back, specifically in the life sciences manufacturing industry.